Hello Rebels and welcome back to my life. It's Tolkien Tuesday, the day that we talk about J.R.R. Tolkien, The Hobbit, The Lord of the Rings, and any exciting real-life happenings in the world of Middle-earth, and today, Tolkien Tuesday happens to fall on International Hobbit Day. Hobbit Day is when we recognize and celebrate the extended Middle-earth universe, and we celebrate it today because September 22nd is actually the birthday of both Frodo and Bilbo Baggins. Well, technically that's open for debate. See, unlike us, the Hobbits had a very simple calendar with 12 months, each of which had 30 days in it, period. Then they had an extra 5 days crammed into the calendar to account for a full 365-day calendar, and this gets a little bit complicated, but basically they had 3 days in between June and July to celebrate the summer solstice, which the Hobbits called mid-year. Then they had 2 days in between December and January to celebrate the winter solstice, which the Hobbits called Yule. And then, just like us, every 4 years there was an extra day for a leap year, which was crammed into the mid-year 3 extra days. So yeah, it's not an exact match, but it's pretty close. The historians among you will no doubt have noticed that this is very similar to the Anglo-Saxon calendar that was used in England for many years until they adopted the Roman calendar and the Roman names for the months. Tolkien obviously was an English historian as well as being a linguist. Many of the parts of Middle-earth are lifted directly from English mythology. The language of the writers of Rohan, in fact, it's just Old English. It's directly Old English. There's no changes. And because Tolkien established many close links between the cultures of Rohan and the Shire, the names of the months in the Shire Calendar are essentially his take on what we would still be calling the months in English if we had never adopted the Roman method. And today's date of September 22nd would, by Shire reckoning, actually be the first day of the month of Winterfilth. Yeah, I'm actually fine with just sticking with the 22nd of September. A couple of interesting notes about Hobbit Day. Although Bilbo and Frodo were born on the same day, they were born, many years apart. Bilbo was 78 years older than Frodo, and in the first scene of The Lord of the Rings where he's having his birthday party, he was turning 111, while Frodo was turning 33. 111 sounds really old, but not so much for hobbits. Certainly not every hobbit reached that lofty age, but it also wasn't unheard of. Plus, Bilbo wasn't aging very fast because of the magic of the ring, although he didn't realize it. The field where the party took place was forever known as Party Field, and many festivities took place there, not just birthday parties, although interestingly, the hobbits never took to celebrating Hobbit Day. Yes, even though the entire rest of Middle-earth celebrated the birthdays of the two hobbits who emerged from nowhere to save them all, the hobbits never got into it. Yes, even though the entire rest of Middle-earth celebrated the birthdays of the two hobbits who emerged from nowhere to save them all, life in the Shire went on pretty much as it always had, as it has a tendency to do. The closest the hobbits ever got to recognizing the War of the Ring was a holiday on April 6th to celebrate the destruction of the ring itself, except they got the date wrong because that actually happened on March 25th. But March is still usually winter in the Shire, weather's just better in April, and they're hobbits. They do what they want. Anyway, happy Hobbit Day to you, my rebels, and all of my other Tolkien friends. The Hobbit and The Lord of the Ring have had a huge impact on my life, from the way that the books changed my mind when I was a teenager to the way that the films adjusted the course of my career as an adult. And that reminds me of one of my favorite Tolkien quotes of all time, the words of Bilbo recalled by Frodo just after he started his grand adventure. "It's a dangerous business, Frodo, going out your door. You step onto the road, and if you don't keep your feet, there's no knowing where you might be swept off to." My road has swept me in many crazy and wonderful directions, and you guys are some of my favorite traveling companions, whether you've been with me since I left my doorstep or just the last couple of miles. Thank you for watching, Rebels, and an extra special shout out to my supporters on Patreon who make my YouTube channel possible, especially my sponsors. If you want to be one of those excellent people, click the Patreon link in the description below, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye! Extra fun fact, Hobbit Day is also the birthday of Tom Felton, who played Draco Malfoy, Billy Piper from Doctor Who, Tatiana Maslany from Orphan Black, and YouTube superstar Mamrie Hart. What does that have to do with anything? They're all hobbits, that's what I'm trying to tell you.